Let's give him a round of applause, and we'll get back to him in a minute. Both with AFDW and the 11th Wing, the outreach to local businesses has increased dramatically over the years, and we think in part due to that summit, and we appreciate Colonel Knight continuing to have that function. We know things are expensive today, and with your agenda, particularly with the inauguration coming up, to have that almost back to back, we sincerely appreciate that. Our next partner, big partner out at Andrews, is the 89th Airlift Wing, which has traditionally been
this community, as the community we grew up with and understand so well. And so we went through a process, and you know, it was, yes, a invited bid and an auction, but the price probably have trouble, and it has come for the same reasons that most industries consolidate. Economies of scale. You know, you need scale. Margins are getting skinnier and skinnier. Medicare doesn't want to pay you. The president's health care plan will be very helpful in getting more people insured. It will be less helpful in seeing that hospitals are solvent and have enough money to survive. And so you really need to snug up with somebody, and I believe most hospitals in the next 5 to 10 years will do just that.
Of many of us here in this room, the chair of the Prince George's Senate delegation to Annapolis, the Honorable Douglas Peters.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, and I think will probably happen. I do think we will have an assault weapons bill. We've got an attorney general seat that's open, and I'm hearing that each of them are going to introduce a bill, and so it's going to be a consensus kind of thing, I hope. The death penalty. I think, you know, the president has said it will be on the floor, but there's a lot of individuals who may have a D next to their name, but might be representing pretty conservative. The gas tax is another wild card. I don't know if you saw the paper today, but counties are wrestling with the state, and you know, it's a year and a half before the primary. People don't.
So let's welcome the chair of the House delegation, Delegate Jolene Ivey.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. My son Julian, yeah, he did Lion King, which was great. But he's a senior in high school this year. He's graduating from Eleanor Roosevelt, and we're just praying he gets into NYU, because if he doesn't, there's no point sending him to college, because that's the only place he wants to go. So please send up good vibes February 15th when he finds a particular issue. And Doug's like, Jolene, just calm down. It's going to be okay. We're going to work it out in session, but I like to know what's going on ahead of time, so I've been making him nuts. But we're going to work it out, and we're workers, members of the council, including the chair, Andrea Harrison, and quite a number of delegates took a trip up to UMS in Baltimore back in December. Familiar with it from his time as county executive in Montgomery County. The problem is, too many residents in more well-to-do counties, they don't file till the deadline many, many months later. Then your income is not counted when the state assesses wealth and figures out 2014, that'll be 150 years. And we have heard so much about the War of 1812 and everything else, but nobody's talking about the end of slavery in Maryland. In my family, it's kind of a bigger deal. So I'm trying to get November 1st named as Jubilee Day. It's one of these things where Juneteenth, for having me. I do have to go. I have a friend's father's being interred at Arlington, and I know how important that is because I went through that with my own dad this year. So I got to go be there for her. But thank you so much for your time, and I hope you'll have me back again.
Is to welcome to the round table our meeting today, Mr. Jimmy Black, who, of course, wore number 21 and was the point guard for the 1982 NCAA champion North Carolina Tar Heels. The man who threw the ball to that Jordan fellow before he sunk the game-winning shot. 63-62 over the Hoyas. Don't take it personally, Georgetown fans. So, Jimmy, if you want to give us a few seconds telling us what you do.
On behalf of On Target Security, we are a full-service security firm right here in your backyard. Here in Cleveland, want you to represent us in the best possible light. If, in fact, we can help any of you, we also do personal security. Some of you look like you need personal security in here. By a show of hands, how many people have been on an elevator? How many people have been at a car wash where they tell you to turn your car off and this belt takes your car around? Okay? I thought that would be all of us. You're around. You trust that you're going to get out at some point. Whatever you're going through, and that means me included, I would like us to reflect for 1 minute and know that Jesus Christ is going to get you through to that destination. The same way you trust that elevator and you trust that car wash, please trust Jesus Christ as we begin this new year. It's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to meeting all of you at some point going forward.
But at that point, and that was about the time I came to talk to you guys, and Pastor Messler helped me through that meeting. I don't know if you remember that or not. But we've come a long way from that point. We ended up being up 5+ homicides for 2011. But I told Mr. Baker that 95 can't stand. It can't. Everything that feeds that number, robberies, violent assaults, that type of thing, everything that feeds that number normally is down tremendously across the board because of our efforts with the community and the police department working together with one happened in 1989 and one in 1985. But because of UCR reporting, they're counted this way. But 95 to 64. But we have a long way still to go. But we had a tremendous year. Showing up, renting out a warehouse, bringing in a band, and really threatening the community. And we were getting people hurt every night at those events. So we've been able to shut those fatalities. Crashes are down 10%. It's important, I think, this group to understand you have a tremendous, in his administration, is committed to building community on every level of the county government to address these issues. That 64 won't stand either. Things are only going to get better.
Not going to work. It's all McGall's fault. When we get done with this, you'll understand. I do want to introduce one other person that's with me, my executive officer, Alicia Francis. If you just stand up real quick and stay there for just a second. Anything good after this presentation, you can talk to me. Anything bad, you talk to her. Thank you. Touch base on an incident that happened last night, very close to here. Some of you that are close to this are probably aware of it, and I wanted to give you a real brief update on it. There was a house fire in Clinton, just on the other side of Branch Avenue from here, in the same neighborhood that there was a house fire on New Year's Eve. That is a street called Student Drive, and they were houses that were constructed by students from Prince George's County Public Schools. One was, the one on New Year's Eve was constructed a couple years ago, had unfortunately entered into foreclosure, still under investigation of the cause. However, last night, the one next door, which was just constructed this year and not yet occupied, also out of the academy, I will have lost 18 people. We have 35 more scheduled for a class in May and another 35 in June. If the budget holds and we're able to hold that, then we will again build that number of 810. We'll raise that number again this year. We, in the past year, mean that where there are career staffing today, there might not be tomorrow. And that's not about cutting just to cut. It's about a strategic analysis of how we provide service, how we meet the Public Safety Master Plan guidelines, and how we continue to run the business. I'm definitely would love to have some representation from this group as part of that commission if we can make that work. And that is all I have. I certainly can answer any questions now or later on.
About going and hearing your rebuttal tomorrow at the luncheon to the fire chiefs. So that'll be good. I'll make sure that we have plenty of my security forces on hand to keep everything in order. That's right. We just want to say to you that we're pretty excited about some things that are coming up at Andrews. A week from today, we're going to be doing a ribbon cutting on Imagine Andrews School. The school is in session. It got off to a very smooth start in the new their refueling wing. The 113th wing is supporting the JTF DC, which is the Air National Guard Joint Task Force, which is stood up to support inauguration and concerts with Tops in Blue, and want to thank you for your support. So thanks very much.
To move it forward. General Prey did that. He set the conditions for success for me, and I plan to do that for the commanders to follow and the airmen to follow in the 89th for years to come. So we get paid to move the ball forward. We have 3 inspections. We can't just say we're good. Other people got to come in and look at us and give us a grade. So we got 3 inspections in June. We got an operational readiness inspection. That's Dr. Strangelove. The most precious air base in America. There is none more intimate with support and defend the Constitution. The world's most powerful, most important leaders do business every day in and out of there. Our fighters protect the capital of this nation. Our tankers do the same. And all you have to do is turn on the news to see every other piece. It's your air base, and I can't thank you enough. When I say generate, it's everything. It's everything everybody else does. It's where we go to church. It's where we buy food. It's how our kids get educated. And we can't do that unless we're standing on your shoulders. So thank you very much. It's an absolute honor to be here.
Thank you. Development Authority. I will talk specifically about the Housing Authority and the Department of Housing and Community Development. The combined department has a staff of 148, a budget of about $100 million. A lot of our services are direct related to a lot of the community development organization that many of you may know in your various communities. In addition to that, we also in the pipeline that we will be pushing out later on this year that's going to be generating affordable housing in this county for the first time in a long time, new affordable housing. So we're looking forward to that. Excuse me.
Here to the African American Museum and Cultural Center in North Brentwood. This is an exciting project, a 30,000 square foot facility that should be completed by 2016. To address some of the vacant and abandoned properties we have in the county, we've actually pledged $2 million this past year to demolish vacant apartment structures throughout Prince George's County to help. It's a 6-acre site right on the Washington, D.C., Prince George's County border, less than a 5-minute walk from the Capitol Heights Metro Station. So if you all are interested in learning more about that project, or you have developers who might be interested, please come see me. Or
don't worry about that. You can look at that when I'm done. But briefly, as Jim said, we're here today to what Aflac is. The type of insurance that Aflac does has never been needed more. I don't want to end this meeting on a down note, but we've been talking about several references to health care. And right now, health care is more of a burden on the average. But those out-of-pocket expenses and those deductibles will do that because well over 66% of Americans have less than $1,000 that they could respond to that. And that, sadly, now oftentimes won't even cover their deductible. And Aflac provides a solution to this. Now, we work through companies.